We'll skip this one. You're not the favorite child. My mom said before my birthday celebration. So I smiled, closed their joint bank account, canceled the $6,000 I had paid for her credit debt, and quietly sold their house. Then came 169 missed calls and one word left on my car: ungrateful. We'll skip this one. You're not the favorite child. That's what my mom said when I called to confirm what time the birthday dinner was. My birthday. I had just sent $6,000 to clear her credit card debt. Just finalized another deposit into their joint account for the mortgage I'd been secretly covering for 6 months. And she said it like it was a joke. Like I was the weird cousin who showed up once a year, not the son who bailed them out of foreclosure in December. I swallowed hard. Didn't let my voice shake. Got it, I said. She didn't even pause. Just moved on to talking about Emma's engagement party. Said they were going all out. That this one deserved a real celebration. She didn't say my name once during the entire call. When we hung up, I sat there staring at my laptop screen. My job, remote IT support, doesn't give you much room to scream into the void. So I didn't. I just smiled. Cold. Clean. Then I did 3 things. First, I logged into our shared online bank account, the one I'd opened for them when Dad couldn't figure out the app and Mom didn't trust online stuff. I drained it, all of it, not to hurt them, just to stop being their personal safety net. Second, I canceled the payment I'd scheduled for the upcoming balloon mortgage fee. Let the bank handle the next step. They'd either find a way or they wouldn't. Third, I pulled up the paperwork for the house. Not their house. Mine. Technically, legally. The title had been transferred years ago when Dad needed a cosigner. I'd done it thinking it would help us all feel more secure. I clicked list quietly. No drama. That night, I slept like a child. The next morning, 169 missed calls. Emma, Mom, Dad, cousins, even that aunt who never liked me but loved borrowing money. Voicemails ranged from pleading to rage to guilt. But it was the message I found on my windshield that told me I'd finally done it. Just one word. Written in lipstick across the glass of my car. Ungrateful. And you know what? That was the first time in my life I felt free. I wasn't born bitter. They raised me that way. 3 weeks before the birthday dinner I was uninvited from, I paid Emma's second installment on her wedding venue. $3,200 because Zach's parents backed out and you make more than them anyway. No, thank you. Just a heart emoji in the family group chat and a passive, we're lucky to have people who care. People, not even my name. That chat had been renamed months ago from Family Updates to Emma and Company. And I was in company if I was anything at all. When I tried to chime in one evening just to ask what the plan was for Thanksgiving, Dad replied with a meme. A cartoon of a piggy bank with arms holding a receipt that said gaslight, guilt trip, give money. Caption, you and we asked for help. I stared at it for a full minute. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, but I didn't respond. I never did. Because the moment I did, they twisted. Say I was being sensitive. That jokes are how we show love. Funny kind of love. The kind that burns when it touches you. Mom stopped calling me directly months ago. Everything came through Emma. Mom needs her prescriptions. Can you cover it till Friday? Dad's got a property tax thing. He says you'll know what to do. Every time I helped, the requests got bigger, louder, and more public. One Sunday morning, I got a Venmo request for $1,400 from Emma with the note, bridesmaid dresses and emotional support. Within 5 minutes, I saw screenshots of it posted on her Instagram story. When your brother is literally your wallet, but you love him anyway. That one went viral in her little influencer circle. Over 2,000 likes. People commenting things like, OMG, I need a sibling like this, and marry me instead. I wasn't tagged. Of course not. The moment I knew I'd made a mistake was when I checked my tax documents and saw the house listed under my name, not as a gift, but as a primary residence. My accountant asked if I live there. No. I said, my parents do. Renters. I hesitated. No. Family. She frowned. So you pay the property tax and maintenance? I nodded. She leaned forward. That's a liability, not a deduction. That's when it hit me. I built them a free life and paid for it with mine. The public humiliation started slow. Dad liked to send memes. But Emma? She had range. On a Tuesday night, I opened Instagram and saw a reel my face in a badly cut clip from a family barbecue 2 years ago. I was holding a burnt hot dog wearing that ugly Hawaiian shirt they'd all dared me to wear. Caption, POV. When you realize being the responsible sibling just means funding everyone's fun and getting no invite. The audio. A voice saying, he doesn't know he's the joke. Hundreds of likes. Comments like, awkward guy, and at least he's trying. I didn't even know she'd filmed that. I didn't even know I'd become a meme. 2 days later, I received an email. Subject, urgent, escrow hold. The house, our house, or rather, the one I legally owned and they lived in like gods of entitlement. Turns out, Emma and Dad had tried to take out a second mortgage using a forged document that claimed they had co-ownership. They even had a fake lease agreement printed with my signature, badly traced. They failed, of course. The bank flagged it. But the real sting. They didn't even tell me they tried. I found out from a mortgage officer who called to verify some numbers. She sounded confused when I laughed. I'm not even surprised, I told her. I'm just disappointed that they thought I wouldn't find out. When I called Mom, she picked up like nothing happened. Oh, honey. That was just your father trying to get ahead on bills. You know how he is. How he is. I repeated. She chuckled like it was a sitcom. You've always been the fixer. We just assumed you'd sort it out. She said that like it was a compliment. Like being the fixer was some badge of honor. Then she added something that cracked me wide open. Honestly, maybe we shouldn't have tried, but Emma's always been more deserving of the house anyway. She wants a family. You just want space. Deserving. That word sat in my mouth like a stone. So I tested something. I texted Emma and told her I couldn't help with the final venue deposit just to see what would happen. Within an hour, I was blocked on every app. Group chat. Removed. Family calendar. Gone. Even Mom stopped replying. Not even a confrontation. Just silent exile. But they forgot one thing. The house was still mine. The utilities were still under my name. The taxes, the insurance, the deed. And they had no idea what I'd already done. No idea that while they were laughing on social media, I was rerouting the power accounts, changing the locks, filing a change of ownership on the insurance. I wasn't just walking away. I was preparing for the collapse. 1 week before my birthday, the one Mom said they'd skip. I got an email from the real estate platform where I listed the house. Offer accepted. Full cash. No contingencies. I didn't call them. Didn't give them notice. I gave the buyers 30 days. And I watched. I watched from my apartment across town as Emma posted a story about finally being ready to renovate the master bathroom. I watched as Mom bragged about home stability and called me her golden safety net in a comment that I wasn't tagged in but I saw anyway. And then I smiled because they were building dreams on sand and the tide was coming in. My birthday came on a Wednesday. I didn't expect a call, and I didn't get one. But at 7:03 p.m., I got a text from Dad. You know you're making things harder than they need to be. We're still your family. Come to the house. Let's talk like adults. A peace offering. I knew better. Still, I said yes. Not because I wanted peace, but because I was ready for war. I arrived exactly at 8 o'clock. The house looked like it always did. Slightly peeling paint, tacky wind chimes, that broken porch light I'd offered to fix 2 years ago and never got a thank you for. Mom opened the door. She was wearing pearls. Pearls. Like it was Thanksgiving. Happy birthday, she said. Flat and forced, like it hurt to say it. Dad was already at the table. Emma too. She looked smug until she saw who came in behind me. Zach. Her ex-fiancé. She stood up so fast the chair screeched. What is he doing here? Zach didn't flinch. Just looked at her calmly and said, I'm here to return the favor. You used me to replace your brother. Now I'm here to remind everyone who the real problem is. Emma's face turned paper white. We sat. Silence stretched. Dad cleared his throat. Look, we all made mistakes. But selling the house? That's insane. You blindsided us. I leaned forward. I didn't blindside anyone. You just never believed I had the guts. Mom sipped wine. You're doing this to punish us. For what? For being imperfect. Zach reached into his coat and placed 3 printed pages on the table. Actually, he said, it's not about imperfection. It's about fraud. He slid 1 page toward my father. It was a screenshot from his phone, an email from a notary service, confirming a scheduled signing of a fake lease agreement. Attached was the forged PDF with my signature. Sloppy, crooked. And dated 2 days after I explicitly told Emma I wouldn't fund the venue anymore. I looked at Mom. Her hands trembled slightly. Emma snapped. You can't prove that's real. Zach raised an eyebrow. Funny. You sent it from your email, from your business account. You CC'd your dad. You also asked me to pose as your brother on a phone call with the escrow agent. Now it was Dad who stood. This is insane. He's lying. Zach smirked. Then sue me. And that was just the appetizer. I stood up and dropped an envelope in front of them. Here's the closing notice. The sale is final. The new owners are moving in next month. You're on a countdown now. Emma's eyes went wild. You wouldn't dare. I already did. She lunged toward me, actually lunged, like she was going to slap me. But Mom stopped her too late because that's when the doorbell rang. I didn't move. Dad wouldn't answer it, muttering curses under his breath. Then, silence, footsteps. And in walked Mrs. Lefevre, their former neighbor. A quiet, sharp, 70-year-old widow who knew everything about everyone. She wasn't smiling. Hello, Paul, she said to my father. Long time no see. You might want to sit. I spoke to the local housing board this morning. Mom gasped. You see, Mrs. Lefevre continued, placing a document on the table. I got curious when I saw a for sale sign next door, and Paul here told me it was just to refinance. But the house wasn't his to refinance. I checked the deed and guess whose name was on it? Dad's voice cracked. This is family business. She looked at me. No. This is community business. You tried to illegally lease a home you don't own. That's a crime, and I've reported it. Emma looked at Mom. Do something. Mom looked down. Mrs. Lefevre handed me a small envelope for your lawyer, dear. Witness statement and a copy of the voicemail he left me when he tried to bribe me to keep quiet. Dad looked like he'd been struck. Zach leaned back and said, I'd clap, but I don't think this table can take more drama. Then came the final blow. I looked at Emma. You know the $6,000 I paid on your dress debt? I reversed it last week. The bank approved it as a fraudulent charge. You'll be getting a letter. She turned pale. Oh, I added. And the venue called me. I told them you'd submitted my old tax returns as your own for the financial assistance form. They were very curious. Emma started crying. Real, messy, mascara-smeared sobbing. Zach just looked away. Dad shouted, we can fix this. I stood. No. You can't. Because I'm done fixing. I'm done being the duct tape on your chaos. I turned to Mrs. Lefevre. Thank you. She smiled like a general stepping off the battlefield. I looked at them one last time, these people I used to call my family, and said happy birthday to me. Then I walked out the door. I didn't return home after that night because home isn't a place you pay for. It's a place that doesn't betray you. The next morning, I did 3 things. First, I woke up without fear. Second, I drained the last remaining account where they'd set up autopays in my name. Third, I opened the spreadsheet I'd quietly updated for the past 8 years. File name, Family Contributions, Liam Morgan, 2016 to 2024. Every dollar tracked. From the "Can you spot me $300 for rent" to "Emma needs therapy, but she's too fragile right now." You understand. Right. The total, $126,480.22. I didn't round. I didn't pad. I didn't subtract the holidays and fake hugs. I compiled receipts, statements, wire confirmations, texts, even Facebook messages. And I built a document that would change everything. Notice of full debt reimbursement. I didn't ask for an apology. I sent an invoice. 3 days later, a courier delivered a manila envelope to 3 separate addresses. Inside, a detailed list of every expense I'd ever paid on their behalf, certified copies of the transactions, and a formal contract that stated, by signing this document, the undersigned acknowledges the receipt of financial assistance from Liam Morgan and agrees to repay it in full according to the attached schedule. The schedule was reasonable. $2,108 per month for 60 months. There was also this clause. Failure to comply will result in immediate civil litigation accompanied by the complete record of evidence attached to this file. And my personal favorite, by signing, you also agreed never to contact Liam Morgan for any emotional, financial, or logistical assistance in the future. Any violation of this boundary incurs a $50,000 penalty as a symbolic clause to mark boundaries. A week later, I received all 3 contracts back. Signed. Mom, Dad, Emma, they didn't even call a lawyer. I know why. They thought it was symbolic that I just wanted closure. They were wrong because I had already hired someone. Marissa Hunt, Civil Recovery Specialist. Razor sharp, efficient, and ruthless. When I handed her the documents, she asked one question. Did they sign? I nodded. She smiled. Then let's make this legally unforgettable. The first month, they paid $2,108 from Mom's account. Then Dad's transfer came through the next day. Emma was 3 days late, but after receiving a formal warning from Marissa, she paid with interest. By month 3, Emma texted me. Can we talk? I just want to clear the air. I replied, there is no air, just invoices. Mom tried to go around me. She called my office pretending she had urgent family news. Left a voicemail saying, you used to have a heart, Liam. What happened to you? I forwarded it to Marissa. Within 24 hours, my mother received a cease and desist for violating the agreement. Next payment, $2,500 including the emotional damages fee. 6 months in, the real victory came. Dad sold his boat. The boat he once said he'd be buried in. His legacy vessel. In the envelope he sent me with the payment confirmation was a handwritten note. Tell your lawyer this closes my chapter. $21,000, one lump sum. Final balance, cleared. Marissa read it, laughed, and said, guess the ocean dream died on a payment plan. I didn't post anything. Didn't share my story online. Didn't turn it into a documentary. I just lived. I moved not to a luxury condo, but to a small house with a garden, a real key, and no shared utilities. Started at a new company, mid-level IT. Quiet. Respectful. I changed my number. I gave my landlord a name they'd never heard. I paid every bill with a card only I used. No calls. No guilt. No more debt that wasn't mine. One day, I printed something and sealed it in a drawer in my study. A simple white envelope with the title. Debt settled. Name cleared. Silence achieved. Inside it, I wrote myself a single line. They thought you were a wallet with a pulse. But now they pay to forget you. And they will. Every month. Until the last dime is returned. 16 months. That's how long it took them to pay back every cent. 16 months of silence. 16 months without one message that said happy birthday. No awkward group chats. No fake apologies. No passive-aggressive guilt trips. I didn't hear "we miss you." I didn't want to. Because peace isn't found in forgiveness. It's found in removal. Last week, the final transfer hit. $1,080.78. The last piece of Emma's emergency fund, I paid when she was too anxious to function. I'd even forgotten about it, but my lawyer hadn't. In the moment it cleared, I did something symbolic, but only for me. I walked into the bank and closed the recovery account. The teller, cheerful and clueless, asked, "Would you like to transfer this balance to another family member?" I smiled, slow and sharp. "No," I said. Family doesn't get forwarding privileges anymore. 2 days later, I ran into my father. Not on purpose. I was at the hardware store picking out stain for a shelf I was building. He was in the next aisle, older looking, hunched in a way I didn't remember. The years had caught up with him, but not in a noble way. More like debt collectors finally knocking. He saw me, stopped, and, unbelievably, smiled. "Liam," he said, like we just bumped into each other after a business trip. "You look good." I nodded once. "That's it." He stepped closer. "Listen, things got out of hand. You know how pride gets." I said nothing. "You made your point," he said. I was darting around like he was checking for witnesses. "But we're still blood." And that's when I cut it clean. "No," I said. "We were a transaction. That transaction is settled." He blinked. "So you're just going to act like we're strangers?" I met his eyes. Calm. Clear. "We are. And I prefer it that way." He didn't speak again. Didn't follow me out. He finally understood what silence means when you earn it. "Emma?" She vanished. When her final payment cleared, she changed her Venmo name, closed her old accounts, and deleted her wedding registry. No. Goodbye. No. I hope someday. Just silence. And that's perfect. She once said I'd never be more than a background character in her story. Funny how quiet her story got when I stopped funding the spotlight. Mom. She tried once, just once, to call me. Sunday morning. No voicemail. Just a missed call. I let it ring. Watched it. Then I texted back one thing. Wrong number. That was the end. Last month, I installed a new sign above my workshop. Simple black and white. Metal letters. Subtle, but unmissable. It reads, "No family discounts. No exceptions." People laugh when they see it. Some think it's a marketing gag. Others ask, is there a story behind that? I say yes. But I don't tell it. Because the people who need to understand already do. Occasionally, a friend will say they bumped into one of them. They said you overreacted. They said you're bitter. They said you changed. They're right. I did. I'm not angry. I'm not resentful. I'm not interested because here's the truth. I'm not healing from what they did to me. I'm thriving because I stopped letting them. I don't calculate my words anymore. I don't filter my answers through potential guilt. I don't flinch when someone says family is everything because no, it's not. Sometimes family is the heaviest anchor tied to your ankle smiling while they watch you drown. So I cut the rope. The last thing I did just for myself, I changed my number. Again, at the carrier shop, the clerk asked, "Want to keep your old contacts?" I shook my head. No. Start clean. Then I walked outside. No parade. No music. No cathartic tears. Just quiet.